Through a Mirror by C.S.R. 16th of October, 27, Monday, 7:23 p.m. So, Lewin introduced me to his boo. He was nervous, I could tell. But he really wanted people to see that he wasn't ashamed of his kukulam, which means boyfriend or girlfriend. I don't know why people feel the need to be embarrassed about liking someone of the same sex. But then I remember all the idiotic bullies who found a way to turn something so beautiful into a dirty, dark secret. I stood next to Lewin as we waited, looking up at the skies. Then I saw a man with a great big wingspan flying about. Lewin's body started to dance with excitement as he called out sweetly to him. The man landed in front of us and looked a bit inquisitively at me. He was very tall, probably taller than Darlene, with very white skin that was covered in tiger-like stripes. His neck was extremely long. His nose and ears were just like a reptile, and his eyes were extremely distinct, even though they were also white.
"This is my boo,"
Lewin said in his flowery voice as he held onto the man's hand.
"Boo 3, this is Marla."
Boothie responded as he kept his eyes coldly fixed on me.
Yes, you've talked about her. A lot.
Good things, I hope. I tried to joke, but he just continued to stare down at me with the same face. If you don't mind me asking, what kind of smarag are you? Boothery almost seemed to let out a low-pitched hiss without opening his mouth as I finished my sentence. Lewin interjected as though he was trying to brighten the mood.
He is a burner. But they don't really like to talk about it, since many people can be prejudiced about it, you know.
Oh, I'm sorry. Boothry shook his head. Does Lewin call you Boo as in short for Boothry? Boothry suddenly shot me a death glare. He spoke threateningly.
Boo is not my nickname. Do not ever call me it. I call Lewin my boo, and he calls me his as a term for endearment. It has nothing to do with my name.
I'm sorry.
Boo,
Lewin cut in again.
don't be so mean. Marla is just a very curious girl. She didn't mean any harm from asking you about it.
He turned toward me again.
People like to tease him about it, you see. Like, "Boo, you're a monster!" If you get what I mean.
Oh, yes, I get it. I turned to Boothry again. That isn't very nice. I'm sorry. I get it, though. People bullied me all the time when I was in the orphanages. People still try. Boothry gave out a sigh as he spoke.
Sorry, I'm being snippy. I'm not typically fond of the female gender is all. They tend to bring out a side of me that I don't like. I wasn't trying to make you feel bad or anything. I'm sorry about you being bullied and with being an orphan.
Oh, don't be. I was able to meet a great couple that adopted me. And I was able to go to Desma and meet your wonderful Boo. I smiled at Lewin, whose wide mouth broke into a great big grin. Lewin tugged at Boothry's arm, which he had completely wrapped himself around, and reached out his free hand to me to take hold of. We went to his house, where we feasted together. As we ate, joking and talking about whatever we could, I heard a familiar voice slide its way into my ear.
Not interrupting anything, am I?
I turned in my chair to see Jarvis leaning against the doorway, arms crossed and smile wide. I jumped up from my seat, calling his name, and ran into his arms, which opened to welcome me. I'm so glad you're back! I blurted in my excitement. I missed him so much and felt like I needed him after all that happened and was happening. I've so much to tell you.
Same here, sweet bird.
He put his hand on my head to rub my hair.
My, you've grown so tall.
I've barely grown since I last saw you.
Maybe I shrank then.
Probably not.
Well, of course not. That'd be horrible. Like I need to be any shorter.
Jarvis took notice of Boothry and wrapped his arm around my shoulders.
Oh, how rude of me. Hello there. I'm Jarvis, Lewin's eldest brother. And you are...
Boothry rose from his seat as Lewin scurried over to us.
This is, Boo 3.
Lewin's lips stumbled as he spoke.
My kukulum.
Ah,
Jarvis' arm left me, and he began to bow, removing his top hat.
welcome, Boo 3. It is a pleasure to finally meet Lewin's boo. He won't shut up about you.
Lewin seemed to have a sigh of relief.
I'm rather surprised that neither of you have been surprised about, well, you know, Boothry being a boy.
Lewin, I've watched you grow up for hundreds of years. I'd have to be a complete jippo to not realize your preference in men as well. Basil, on the other hand, well, we all know that he probably was dropped on his head when he was a baby.
Probably.
Lewin muttered under his breath.
Although that is rather mean.
Do not defend the scumbag.
Oh, I won't.
Lewin tiptoed back to the table and gestured at all the food.
Care to join us?
Don't mind if I do.
Jarvis said as he escorted me back to my seat. We walked with our elbows linked, and then he pulled out my chair for me and sat in the seat next to me. I didn't really want to steal Boothry's time, but I knew I needed to tell Jarvis what I wanted as soon as possible because he didn't typically tell people beforehand when he was leaving. I told him about my cat and then about Ginger. Boothry seemed to grow uncomfortably intrigued when I mentioned her. He tried to act like he wasn't interested, but he obviously was. He found ways of getting me to tell him more without even asking questions. It almost felt like a game. 17th of October, 27, Wednesday, 11:34 a.m. I ended up staying the night with the Carissa Mays. Boothry went home, but Lewin was still excited that I was finally able to use my bedroom like a bedroom. They had a loft bed in there, just for me. It seemed like such a waste to never use it. When I got up, I came to the kitchen to find Darlene sitting at the table with a cup of coffee. She didn't react to me walking in as her gaze remained adamant on the newspaper she had clutched in her claws. But she still spoke to me, saying,
"There's hot water in the pot if you want to make yourself some tea."
"All right, thank you," I said as I went for the pot. "I'm surprised to see you here."
I heard you spent the night and that Jarvis returned, so I wanted to make sure everything was all right.
Still don't trust Jarvis?
I will never trust Jarvis.
Oh, hey. I remembered something my father said to me after I visited Kristen. Are you gay? Or lesbian? You know, into girls? Darlene slammed her mug onto the table.
Favalor?
Yeah.
Why does he care so do-right much about my love life?
She shook her head in frustration.
No. I'm not into girls. But I have nothing against women who are, or men who like men, like Lewin.
Lewin was surprised that we weren't prejudiced toward him for being with Boothry.
So he is homosexual. Well, I guess he might be bi.
Yeah. Don't tell him I told you.
I'm just kidding, I knew about it. I've met Boo before. Oops, my bad, I meant Boothry. We used to be classmates, so everyone called him Boo in those days.
Oh. Small world, huh? Lewin said Boothry lived in Argentum City, so I assume that people in R might not know too much about him, you know?
I've gone around most of Utradesma, remember? I've been moving around since I was born. Made school sort of complicated.
I took a seat and talked with her more. Eventually, Lewin came in, and then Jarvis. He had the desire to whisk me away from everyone once I was finished with my breakfast and tea. 17th of October, 27, Wednesday, 8:45 p.m. Being alone with Jarvis again was nice. It's not like it had been that much time since I last seen him, but I still missed him a lot whenever I don't get to see him. I probably say this to you all the time, huh? Well, I like being in Jarvis' presence and will always miss him when we're apart. Apparently, he feels very mutual about this. When he took me to talk to me in private, he brought me into his bedroom to surprise me with a little kitten.
Ta-da!
Jarvis said as he pulled her out of the box with his gloved hands.
I know how much you loved Baba, so I found you this abandoned kitten last night.
He was grinning so wide, looking awfully proud of himself.
She obviously needed someone who would love her, and I thought you'd be perfect for the job.
Oh, Jarvis, I tried to speak, but he just continued as he didn't seem to hear me.
I thought a cute cat for a cute girl.
He tried to hand me the kitten, but I couldn't bring myself to hold her. Jarvis, I can't. It's too soon. His smile fell flat as his eyes widened behind his tiny tinted spectacles. Well, I think it would be best for me to wait a while before we took on another pet and responsibility. She also might be different since she's from Utradesma, you know? I watched him bite his lip as he lowered the kitten away from me. I really really appreciate you doing this for me. I'm not trying to make you feel bad. She's so adorable, but I really don't think it'd be a good idea.
What should I do with her? I can't just put her back on the streets.
Well, no. Can't you take care of her?
On top of the fact that I always travel around, I don't know the first thing about taking care of another living being. She'd probably get into my stuff and leave fur all over my suits and scratch up my hats. I wouldn't trust leaving her alone.
What about Lewin? You can ask him if he'd want her. Or Darlene. Any of our friends, in fact. All you need to do is ask.
True.
Jarvis continued to hold the cat as we continued to catch up with each other. He talked about the things he saw on his adventure, but mostly about how he wished he could have seen them with me.
Day 10/18/27. Date Wednesday. Time 5 p.m. It's so boring here. All I have is a rundown building and you, real person. At least I have that pole thing. That was fun to mess around on. It's a good thing I sleep a lot too. If I didn't, I'd have more time on my hands. Maybe I'll go to some other store to steal clothes or something entertaining. I have alcohol, smokes, water, candy, food bars, and canned food. So I guess I just need entertainment and a change from this stupid uniform. I'm tired of the pleated skirt, collared shirt, and plaid knee socks. I feel like a dork. Damn, why did it be such a stereotype? Curly orange hair and stupid-ass freckles. At least I don't have green eyes. They're hazel and a burn color like fire. I think my eyes are the only thing I pride myself on. They're hella cool. Sometimes, when I look deeply at my reflection, I think I see flames dancing in them. Speaking of reflections, I should stop sitting in front of this mirror, or I'll hate my clothes more and more.